welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you're new, hey guys, welcome. My name's Sophie and this is my world. And if you didn't know, I am getting married to my Italian fiance this summer. The catch is that I live in Rome and our wedding will be in the United States of America. So I've got asked by so many of you guys if I could do a video on how the wedding planning process is going, and it's been going. It's very difficult to plan a wedding abroad. So I thought that I would sit down and kind of tell you the process that I have taken so far to plan a wedding in about a year. So we got engaged last August and we're getting married at the end of this August. So the engagement has been about a year and we started actively wedding planning, I would say, about a month after we got engaged. So the first step that we had to decide where we're getting married, the place. And this was very difficult for us because Emilio, my fiance, all his family is here in Italy and all my family is in the US. So we thought, why not do a destination wedding? The one place that we had our hearts set on was completely and entirely out of our budget. So I always thought, since forever, that I was going to get married in Italy. But due to the huge size of Emilio's side, it would have been impossible to stay in our budget with 300 plus people at our wedding. So even, I know we looked at many places. We even looked into hiring a wedding coordinator here in Italy, but that was insanely expensive. So what did we end up deciding? We ended up deciding to get married where my mom and stepdad have a lake house, which would be in Vermont, in New England, in the New England part of the States. And I grew up going to summer camp in Vermont. I grew up going to our lake house. I would bring friends, and I just remember my summer memories were mostly spent in Vermont, and it does hold a dear place to my heart. And my mom does live there for most of the year, and so we decided to forgo a wedding coordinator and have my mom and some of her friends kind of help with a lot of the coordinating and planning. So first is to pick the destination. And then after we decided on the destination, which took a lot longer than I thought it would, we had to choose the venue. So what kind of venue do you want? I'm not really into like a too rustic wedding, and a lot of the venues in the area we were looking were a lot of barns. And I always thought that having a barn wedding would be amazing, given that I grew up riding horses, but the venues were a little too rustic for my style. And so we ended up deciding on a venue on the lake. That way you could get both elements, water and countryside. So after you choose the venue, you kind of have to solidify a date, because maybe the date you're thinking of, the venue already doesn't have any availability. Kind of what happened to us. So we tried to see when would Italians be able to take time off to come to the States, when would be a good time also for Americans to come. Because Vermont's a destination wedding for everybody. I don't have any friends in Vermont. All my friends and most of my family are scattered all around the States. So Vermont is a pretty remote place and it's not the easiest destination to get to, even for Americans. So it was more of a fair playing ground that way, I guess, for both me and Emilio. All the dates that we had in mind, the venue was already completely booked, and this was about 11 months. And I don't know if it's because I've been living in Italy for a few years, but this kind of shocked me, and it also shocked Emilio. Apparently Italians don't really plan too far in advance, and we have definitely seen that even in the guests that we have invited. They still haven't gotten their plane tickets and they still say they're coming. Hello, little V, you want to say hi? Hi, I'm hungry. I had my heart set on this one place after we did all of our research and we looked into the budget and pricing. I had my heart set on this one place, and the only opening that they had was going to have our wedding during the weekday and not on a weekend. But I said, it's gonna be a destination wedding for everybody. If someone's gonna come, they're still gonna travel, they're still gonna have to take time off from work. We're doing it on this date. If people don't want to come because it's during the week, that's okay, but this is the place I want to do it, and this is the date that we're gonna have. It was the only available date left. So choosing the date and choosing the venue kind of go hand in hand. It just depends on the availability that the venue has. Then I had to choose my bridesmaids. That was a no-brainer. I have a very few amount of very close friends, and I decided to go with some of my closest friends that I've had forever, and also my stepsister as well. So I decided to go with 4 bridesmaids. I know that there's some weddings that have like over 7, over 8. But I don't have like that many people that I would consider that close and dear to me, and I didn't want to choose just random girls to fit a number. I've always wanted to ask my bridesmaids in a really fun way. So what I did was I went online and I found this card that is like a scratching card, and you write like, will you be my bridesmaid, or whatever you want to write, and you cover it with this sticker, and they're supposed to scratch it off. And it's fun because they get this card in the mail and they scratch it off, and it's the message. So it was super fun, and they all said yes. So after you choose the destination, the venue, the date, is choosing the guest list. This was an ongoing process for us because it was very difficult. We didn't want a big grandiose wedding, which is the whole reason why we did it in the States. At the end of the day, when you write everybody down, it comes out to be a lot more than you had ever anticipated. We really wanted a very small and intimate wedding, and I think only the people who really want to be there will come. And I kind of like that. I don't want anyone and everyone to come to our wedding, and that people who actually do end up coming will show to us that, wow, they really do value us in their life, and that's, I think, a special way to do things and to make it more intimate and more personal in that way. The guest list takes a while, and it takes a lot of compromise on all parts. Your family side, his family side, his friends, your friends. Basically what me and Emilio did was, we had all these friends from university, from work, whatever, and we just decided, if we haven't talked to this person in X amount of years, why would we invite them? So that's kind of how we did. We started crossing people off, and when it comes to family and when it comes to friends of your parents or friends of, you know, it gets a little more tricky because it's also your parents' party too, and you have to just let them invite who they want to invite within reason. I don't know if any of you guys have had, I mean, wedding planning is supposed to be, you're supposed to make it fun. You're not supposed to make it stressful, because then it's not going to be an enjoyable process. It gets draining and overwhelming, but once you finalize the guest list, and it will never be finalized, you'll always have one person to remove or one person to add. After I chose the venue and we blocked the date, and we had kind of a more or less an idea of how many guests that we may tentatively have, we looked into photographers. I did a bunch of researching. I asked the wedding venue if they have any photographers that they have worked with in the past. They gave me a list. I looked through it. We chose our top 3, and we had Skype interviews, a 3-way Skype interview. We had all of our questions. They had questions to ask us, and they were all amazing photographers, but we ended up choosing one. We couldn't have 3 photographers. And I'm not gonna lie, since when did photographers get so expensive? Have they always been crazy expensive? I have to admit, my photographer cost us more than my dress. And I mean, at the end of the day, the pictures are not everything, but they're a big part of the wedding to remember everything, and so you can't choose a half-assed photographer. So a photographer was was a pretty big expense, and so we wanted to make sure that it was going to be the right photographer. Then everyone's journey is different, but then I started looking at dresses. So I created a Pinterest board. I had a style of wedding dress in my mind, And I went to one place here in Rome. I didn't have my mom with me. I didn't have my friends with me. I went with Emilio's sister and one of his really good friends. And I tried on all the dresses that I thought were initially my style. And it turns out I hated all of them on me. And the woman who was helping me at the wedding place showed me this dress and was like, I think you should try this on. And I looked at it, I said, I don't know about it. It's not really my style. And she goes, just trust me on this. I put it on, guys, and I was like, this is it. This is the dress. I don't need to try any others. It's crazy how it works. I did go to another store after just to confirm that that was my dress, and it was. I didn't like any of the other dresses I tried on in store number 2. So I could then check off the dress. And after I chose the dress, and I kind of got a feel for the style of my dress, I chose my bridesmaids dresses, and choosing the color of the bridesmaid dresses was, I think, one of the hardest things, because I'm a very indecisive person. If I like 2 things, I need someone to tell me which one to get. I ended up deciding on a color, but it was hard. I had the company send me sample pieces of the fabric to see it in real life, and I ended up just deciding on one that would go well with the scenery and the landscape and the setting. Okay, I've got the venue, the date, guest list, dress. That's pretty good, right? Then after that, we started with the save the dates. So I got my dress before we sent out the save the dates. It's so funny. And you know, many couples, they do engagement shoots and all that, but because Emilio travels so much for work, we had a difficult, I mean, it would logistically be like too difficult to set something, and I don't know, I just didn't really want an engagement shoot. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's weird, but I didn't really feel like we needed one. We've traveled already so much. We have so many amazing pictures. So we chose an old photo of ours for the save the date. I used Minted. You upload the picture, you do your design, and then you order it and they send it to you. So mind you, all of this, I was doing all this from Rome, and the venue was having a food and cake tasting, and I was here. And funny enough, my mom was actually here visiting me in the fall while the food tasting at the venue was going. So we sent my stepdad and some of my mom's friends over to the food tasting to report back to us, but that didn't help because I'm pretty picky with food, and not being able to see it and smell it and taste it, and having to, you know, go with other people's words was a little, you know, I was kind of disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to do the food tasting. You can't just show up and ask for a cake tasting. The venue doesn't offer that, unfortunately, so I'm just gonna have to wing it, choose what sounds best, and just hope for the best. So then I went home for Christmas, and in Vermont it snows. We went to the venue. Everything looks different. It's under snow. It was all white. You're not gonna get the same feel as the day of the wedding when everything's completely under snow and it's freezing outside. And so that was a little, you had to kind of vision and picture everything. And over Christmas, we sat down and we mailed out the save the dates. We wanted to get the save the dates out by the first week of January. That way we had plenty of time to get a feel for who may be coming and who already said that they can't come that day. You know, what the purpose that save the dates are supposed to do. Now we are in June, and I haven't been back since January. It's been about 6 months, because I left the first week of January. It's been about 6 months since I've been back at the venue, and I won't be back to the venue until 1 month before the wedding. So I'm one of those people, I'm a very type A person, and I need to see things for myself. I want to be with my mom to meet the florist, to go and inquire about the hair and makeup. And I'm so grateful that my mom is there in person to do a lot of those things for me. I'm forever grateful, especially since we don't have a wedding planner. But I also would like to see those things for myself. There's some things that I don't really care about. Like, for example, flowers. I get overwhelmed by the selection, and so I told my mom, I trust you, you have amazing taste, you know what my wedding dress looks like, you know the colors of my bridesmaid dresses, you know everything. So you choose the flowers and I will tell you yes or no. So that's kind of how it went down. I can tell you, there is a little sense of helplessness being so far away, even though you have people there helping you out. And it's now that we've gotten all the big pieces of the puzzle together, now all of the little pieces, what color chairs, what color votives, what color plate chargers, what table stand, what about the signature cocktail, all of these little details overwhelm me. So I had to take it one step at a time. And what I did to help me was I would devote one day a week, like for example, Sunday. I would devote about half a day to only do that. And I would sit and work on my Google Docs and send it to my mom, and we would go back and forth. And I would sit when Amelia would come back from work and be like, does this sound okay to you? And we would work it out. And you just have to take it one page, one step at a time, because if not, all of the little pieces are gonna be feel like they're being thrown at you, and then it won't be fun. Wedding planning is supposed to be like the most fun part. So I'm trying to get that feeling of like, woo, this is so fun. So this is coming all from a bride's experience. I go back about a month before the wedding and solidify things in person, go get my hair and makeup trial done, and basically tie up all the remaining loose ends with my mom. And then Emilio comes just a few weeks before the wedding, and then we're gonna get our marriage license, and we have to work on vows and talking together with the officiant and all of that jazz. So yeah, those are gonna be some very intense, busy weeks. But I'm super excited. I recently just went for my first dress fitting, and I did just buy my shoes as well. I decided to go flat, no heels. And you know, I thought about vlogging and taking you guys with me. But at the end of the day, those are little moments that I need to myself, and I get very overwhelmed easily, especially with choosing things. So I decided not to vlog those experiences. I hope you guys can respect that. And I'm super excited because my bachelorette weekend is in about a month. Crazy. And Amelia and I planned our honeymoon. I'm not going to announce yet where that's going to be, so you guys are gonna have to hold on tight for that. A few of my bridesmaids have already been through this. They've already been married, and I've been asking them a lot of questions, and yeah, so thanks to everybody. Thanks to all of my amazing friends and my amazing mother who is helping plan. Thanks so much guys for clicking on this video and being interested in following my wedding planning from abroad journey and experience thus far. And give this video a thumbs up if you want me to bring you guys along with me to my bachelorette weekend. And don't forget to subscribe. That way you don't miss any future videos from yours truly. Thanks again guys, and I hope you have an amazing morning, noon, evening, night, wherever you are in the world, and until next time, ciao!